Ladies and gents, greetings. Thank you for tuning into Firstlight Cloud Xchange, your cloud solutions center. Today, our partner is Crown Castle. As you already know, most businesses have already moved a majority of their IT infrastructure into the cloud. The cloud truly brings tremendous values. To access all that intelligence in the cloud, you do need a very good internet connection. Speed, reliability, uptime, and security are all major factors. Your ISP plays a very important role. Now, there are many choices in the marketplace today. However, Crown Castle stands out among all the others. Crown Castle has a network that boasts 80,000 route miles of fiber, and that number is growing today, and also a blended architecture of tower, small cells, dark fiber, Ethernet, and wavelength. Today, we invited Mr. Robert Viccari of Crown Castle to come in and discuss their company products and solution. Robert, welcome.
Thank you, Taz, for having us.
Of course, it's our pleasure. So, why Crown Castle? What differentiates Crown Castle from all the other ISPs? And what are your strengths?
Crown Castle, great discussion to have today, so thank you again.
Sure.
So in 1994, Crown Castle started as a tower company that had 100 towers, and they utilized companies like AT&T and Verizon to grow that part of the business. Once they got over 80,000 towers, they began to look and purchase a few different fiber companies, which they did do. Light Tower, one of them, which you're aware of,
Sure.
and Wilcon, and a few others. So once they purchased those fiber companies, they started to expand off of their network to expand their reach physically through the United States.
Oh, that's great. So one thing that immediately jumps out to me is the fact that Crown Castle truly does not have a geographical boundary, if you will. Like typically, the whole US is kind of cut up between different phone carriers and cable carriers. Depending on where you are, you can only get a certain company. Crown Castle doesn't have that limitation. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's a fantastic situation. And you have built out an extensive fiber footprint as well as wavelength, small towers, etc.
Sure, of course. And dark fiber. Yeah, I mean, that's our sweet spot. That's our asset, is our dark fiber. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's a perfect segue for me to start talking about dark fiber. This is something I'm really excited to talk about. Dark fiber. First of all, for those of the viewers that are not familiar with the term dark fiber, please explain what is dark fiber.
Dark fiber is our assets. It's actually our physical network that's in place in all the major cities in the country, and that we've had expanded.
So it's basically a private network, right? It's a connection between a customer premise, and if it's a multi-location customer, it connects all the locations on a private network, as well as it could be a point-to-point connection between the customer premise and data center.
That's correct. So the unique way Crown Castle designs and builds networks for your clients is that we'll take that dark fiber dependent on where your customers, it could be multi-sites, it could be 2 sites, it could be 3, 4 or more, dependent on what the ask is. But let's use 2 sites, for example,
Sure.
to start. So now if you have 2 sites that need that reliability and they need that security, we'll build and design that. So the example is if they need that security and redundancy between those 2 sites, we'll give them a single strand of fiber, 2, 3, or 4, and design different paths so they have that diversity.
MPLS is still using a public internet at some point. Either it could or it couldn't, but the option is there. If it's out of footprint, then they could use someone else's access to bring in that connectivity into the mix. But dark fiber would be completely 100% secured, your own network, right? There is no public access to this at all.
Correct. That's in the example, the 2 sites, that's just a private line between those 2 sites off of our fiber that we give to you.
And when you mentioned that you can build multiple strands, you're adding security to it, right? There's an option to build in security.
Correct. We're providing security and redundancy. And
Okay.
And low latency between the sites as well.
So the customers out there that need maximum security, it needs to be a fully secured network. Dark fiber is the solution right there. Whether it's between locations or into the cloud, if you're a trading firm, if you're a bank, school, hospital, security and compliances are of utmost importance. And dark fiber is the product that can deliver that solution.
That's correct.
Great. What's next? Ethernet.
Let's talk about Ethernet. But before we do, I'd like to just mention Wave, which is that product that is similar to dark fiber in a way. It'd just be great to mention that as well. So
Sure.
the difference between now you have the dark fiber, Wave, and the MPLS, which we were discussing a little bit earlier. Now the Wave, which is interesting about our Wave product, is it's very similar to the dark fiber, where we'll customize, design, and build a maximum security solution for your customer between two sites. But instead of it being an unlimited amount of bandwidth, which you would have to deploy yourself with your equipment with dark fiber, with Wave, we would design that for you.
Oh, let's back up for a moment. We did not discuss that. Sorry.
That's okay.
On dark fiber, there is no bandwidth limitation. Is that right?
That's correct.
So since it's your own private network, whatever end device you have at each location dictates what will be the speed over that network.
Correct.
So if you have a router at both ends that can operate at 1 gig, 10 gig, or 100 gig capacity, the speed of that connection would be 100 gig.
Correct.
If you have the capacity.
Correct.
That is fantastic.
Now, to add, if the customer didn't have the equipment to do that, we could also provide that equipment.
Okay. You're right. On a subscription basis, I would imagine. And would it be fully managed?
Correct. Fully managed by Crown Castle.
Right. And that also takes away some of the headache away from the customer, where they are not responsible for procuring that hardware, managing it, maintaining it, being responsible for firmware update and all that other stuff.
Correct.
And you said that wavelength does not have unlimited bandwidth?
Well, wavelength, we would design that bandwidth. It would be, I'm just going to use the example, 10 gig, 50 gig, 100 gig, whatever the requirement is. And we provide the equipment regardless in that environment.
Excellent. Okay. Next would be Ethernet. So you do offer regular Ethernet circuit or dedicated internet access to all customers of all sizes, right?
Correct.
Everything from 10 meg to 10 gig, 100 gig.
Correct.
Is it true that you are also able to offer Ethernet circuit to 100 gig in speed?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's all across your footprint, or there are gray zones?
No, we could do that all across our footprint. Now, the unique thing about the MPLS is that it's, compared to your dark fiber and Wave, the MPLS, we will not custom design paths. That will be routed through our MPLS node. So it'll push the best route needed in any environment. Now, something neat to talk about with MPLS, depending on the customer environment, is it a hub and spoke?
Correct.
Is it a mesh network?
Or a mesh network, right. Yes. Yeah, I think people understand that we're talking about 3 or 4 different types of products here.
Correct.
Dedicated internet access is your basic internet connection, your gateway to the world. MPLS and dark fiber and wavelength are more of a private network. And you can do as little as you want, or you can go as deep as you want with any of these products.
Correct.
Great. If a customer already has an Ethernet circuit in their building, let's say somewhere in Midtown Manhattan, which is heavily lit by pretty much all carriers, but more so by Crown Castle, and they started with a 100 meg connection, and it's an existing customer, they already have a 100 meg connection, they want to upgrade to a full 1 gig or 10 gig. First of all, is that possible? And if so, what is the time frame for that change to take place?
No, that's a great question, and I know it's very valuable for customers to be able to turn up their services as soon as possible. So Crown Castle, if there's a network in place or a service with us that's in place today, we want to grow with your business, so we'll meet those time frames. The typical requirement is 30 to 45 days, but in a lit building, we can turn up your service and increase that bandwidth 2 weeks.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And you can also, if need be, you can also bring in secondary and tertiary circuits from alternate carriers and integrate them into your platform and manage them?
Yes, we can.
Very good.
With an SD-WAN device.
With an SD-WAN device. We'll discuss that in another episode. Okay, Cloud Connect is something you mentioned. I remember going into one of your seminars and your engineers were talking about Cloud Connect.
Sure.
Let's discuss that.
Yeah, that's a great product, and I'm glad you brought that into the mix too. Now, Cloud Connect is, listen, if you're a company that relies and does business with Amazon, Google, Azure, and Microsoft, and you need that connection with them. This is a direct connect to them where you're bypassing the public internet. And by doing that, you're creating maximum security. And also the latency is down a lot just by bypassing the public internet. So it's a great product. That's a product I could see, people that run their businesses in with Amazon, they need that. There's no doubt about it.
So first of all, I think a significant portion of the customers out in the market today, anywhere from even SMB, mid to large size accounts, definitely, but even small customers have a lot of their infrastructure in Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, or Amazon Web Services. And there is a real requirement, a connection to the private cloud today is what basic internet circuit 20 years ago used to be, right?
Right, yeah.
Everybody needs that. You're saying that your private cloud is a connection between my location here in my office to the Google Cloud a direct path, right?
Correct.
Without touching the public internet, it's one hop away with the least amount of latency, packet loss, etc. Is that right?
Sure, with security too, because you're not hitting the internet, bypassing.
So you can also incorporate security into it?
Oh yeah, just having that direct connect alone is providing you that security because you're not using the IP, the internet, to access, Amazon, just say as the example.
That's fantastic. So I do see, as a salesman, I do see this being a very valuable product to multiple verticals, such as financial, healthcare, education, banking, etc. They do need direct connect into the Google Cloud, etc. Let's discuss how Crown Castle fits in there. Would you say Crown Castle is a good fit for multi-location banks, trading houses, hospitals, and schools?
Oh yeah, that's our niche. I mean, just because of the fact that we're unique and can design and build that solution to tailor to their needs, to create that low latency, that secure, maximized security connection and reliable. I mean, we'll design and tailor that to the customer's needs.
Perfect. Okay, that's a lot of good information. Robert, thank you very much for coming. In conclusion, let's see if we can sum up what are the value propositions of Crown Castle. What would you say are the 3 reasons someone should consider Crown Castle over a competition?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, right out of the gate, it's the uniqueness of the designs that will build the network itself. Just it's the asset of that fiber network alone, and then obviously the support around that, built behind that, as far as a designated PAM to support your services and any kind of post-sales issues. We're there to help you and guide you.
Let's see if I can simplify that, and you grade me. What we have seen that Crown Castle offers over the others is, number 1, no geographical boundary. They can deliver service anywhere in the country, number 1. Number 2, pretty aggressive pricing. You'd be surprised. Give us a call, we'll show you. And number 3, they do assign an account manager to every customer on every product. From our customer feedback, that is of great help. Being able to call your dedicated account manager when you need something done, whether it's a billing issue or you need to upgrade your bandwidth or whatever, you're opening a new location, not having to go through multiple different people and having that one contact is a lifesaver. So Robert, thank you very much for coming in.
And thank you.
It's our pleasure. For our viewers, for more information, please click on the link that is in the description below. Thank you very much.